I'm here with actor Brandon Delsid, who is currently starring in The Big Bang Theory musical parody, as you can see by this very subtle backdrop that he's sitting in
So
front
subtle.
of. Subtle like a Mack truck, right? Let's talk about your desire to become an actor. When did you first realize this is what you wanted to do full time, and what steps did you take to realize
Well, I'm originally from Fresno, California, as we were just talking about, so far away from home. And I grew up doing theater. My grandma actually took me to a production of Oliver when I was 7 years old, and I got hooked, which is crazy because it's Oliver the musical. Who gets hooked from literally Oliver the musical?
At 7,
At 7. Weird, very weird start. But I got hooked. I love, it's playtime for me, you know, getting to be up there with other actors, other performers, and getting to have fun and create a character and break out of your shell and break into different people and give something, and you get something immediately back, whether it's from other actors or from the audience.
Right.
And I just loved it. I still love it, and I grew up doing that. I performed in a dinner theater from about 15 to 19 or 20. And then
what was that experience like?
That was intense.
As people are trying to eat dinner and banging plates and all that other
I know.
nonsense.
It's as crazy as it sounds. It was really crazy. It's really interesting. It's a really reputable dinner theater that I grew up performing at called Roger Rocca's Dinner Theater, and Audra McDonald is from my hometown. She performed there growing up. Heidi Blickenstaff.
I
know. Audra who?
Audra McDonald.
Audra who? Let's put that on a shirt. Audra who?
Maybe she'll find work after this interview.
I know. I hope so.
By your name drop.
Yeah. Let's hope. Fingers crossed for her career, right? But I loved it. Yeah, it was really a great place. The dinner theater specifically, I learned about the discipline of being a performer and how theater, when you get to that level and when whatever you're doing, a tour or a show that's running for an extended amount of time, it's a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're still creating, it's still organic, but it's a well-oiled machine. And so I learned about the discipline of just sustaining a performance for 6, 9, 10, 12 weeks,
Now, when you first decided this is it for you, were you primarily interested in theater since you started in dinner theater and were looking in towards that, or did you want to branch out, do everything, film, TV?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. I think as an actor, you're always kind of reinventing yourself. You always are. There's those moments of rebirth when something ends, because as an actor, you're a freelance performer. You're a freelance worker. You're going from project to project, and that can be daunting and it can be scary, but it constantly allows you to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
And I love theater, but I'm really hoping to venture more into TV and film stuff in the coming year. I'd really like to get back into that. I think that's an area I haven't kind of navigated as much as I would like to. I've done quite a bit of theater so far in my professional career, but I really want to get into TV and film.
Have you done any film and television, or?
I've done little bits. When I was in Los Angeles, I did some little supporting role things on How to Get Away with Murder and a couple other shows.
That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing that on your
little
resume.
things, but I've mostly done theater. I did a regional tour of Beauty and the Beast when I was in LA through some of the West Coast. I spent some time in Alaska for a couple weeks performing there, and it was incredible. Every show is like a different little diary. You know, every project you do.
Now you know you're not a legitimate actor until you star on Law and Order.
I've heard that.
And do a horror film.
And a horror film.
And you've done neither, right?
And I've done neither.
Well,
so
we're going to end this interview now, and when you become a real actor, you let me know.
I will call you back.
We'll pick up from there.
And I have a scream unlike anybody. I mean, I'm a scream queen, is what I've been told. So.
Well, we will. We'll dive down a different road with that, which is maybe come back to that later. So you're currently starring in The Big Bang Theory musical parody as Raj. What has this experience been like as a whole for you?
It's been incredible. I mean, it's kind of my first professional gig in New York City. It's opened a lot of doors, and I've learned a lot about being a performer. I've learned even more about endurance, performing in New York City with all of the elements against you. Traffic, mean people, Dunkin' Donuts, everything coming at you 24/7.
And that's just the audience.
And that's just an evening performance.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about that. I've learned a lot about myself. I'm excited to see, where it all goes. But I'm hopeful. As a performer, it's like I said, it's about constant rebirth and constant change and embracing change. And, I think life is about pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about you don't know what's to come and taking what it is and trying to make better of it. Always better tomorrows.
You mentioned you wanted to kind of pivot into film and television.
Yeah.
Is there a genre that you feel you would excel in? You seem like a very comedic-based, personality-wise, anyway. Is that
Yeah, I would
something
love
you'd like
to do.
tackle?
Yeah, I'd love to do comedic television, different things like that. And I'm getting ready, hopefully, to sign with a new agent that I can kind of work on both coasts with,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe kind of audition both places, because I say this to my actor friends, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You have to be in the game, you have to have skin in the game and be auditioning and get your face out there, and it's a full-time job.
Absolutely.
Just performing, and auditioning and being in the ring. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited being in the ring, and I'm a really hopeful person, and I know, things come. You just have to show up.
What do you do to keep that positivity going? Obviously, as an actor, it could be hard on certain days. You're constantly, or not constantly, but you're being told, oh, you're not good enough for this. You're not good enough for that. You're too good looking for this. You're not good looking enough for that.
Yeah.
You're too talented for this. You're not talented enough for this. Like, it's got to mind fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, and I won't lie, there's been moments today where, I get in my head and you can get down on yourself about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a lifestyle, being an actor, and it's a lifestyle to be positive and to be a hopeful person, to keep going. And I think, it's really easy as an actor, we compare ourselves to the person next to us, to the person to the left of us, seeing where they are, what they've achieved. And I heard a quote a long time ago that has always stuck with me where, at the end of your life, the race is with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize you weren't racing with anyone else the whole time. You're always trying to be a better version. So I'm always trying to be a better version of Brandon.
Right.
Whatever that is to me for the day, whether it's, so I feel like I'm competing with myself, and I try to remind myself a lot.
I talk about this a lot with some of the other actors that I've interviewed and musicians. There's such a platform for entertainment personalities now to get themselves out on so many different platforms and build a following, which,
Yes.
even from doing a show here in New York,
Yes.
you build a following to transfer over to Instagram, to YouTube, to this, to that. Is that something that really excites you?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so cool. Being an actor in 2019, the opportunities are endless. I was telling you before we started taping, I started a podcast actually based here in New York. It's 5 friends of mine. It's called The Round.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow us at The Round Podcast. And
Named after my shape.
Yes, perfect. Yes, you should come and join us.
Yeah.
And we talk about, it's sort of like a gay version of The View. We talk about politics, we talk about hot topics, entertainment news. And I feel like I get to show my personality through stuff like that. I love journalism. I think it's something later in my life I'd like to play with more too, broadcast journalism. I love hosting and talking to people and connecting.
Now, you mentioned that it's in the same vein as The View.
Yeah.
But being as 5 gay guys, do you feel that you have views that are very similar to each other instead of The View, like they butt heads? Or
It's interesting you say that. I
depending on
think
the topic?
we have quite similar points of view on most things, but still, as with any hot topic, any political conversation, differences come up. Just from the way you're raised, even being 5 gay guys in New York City, and that was kind of what interested me so much about starting the podcast.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's available on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere, Apple Podcasts. Because I didn't think there was a platform that really let gay guys be intelligent and show points of view about politics. I think, you see things where they're talking about entertainment news and this and that, but I've never seen something where they got to talk about politics and sort of speak about, intelligent dinner party talk or different things like that. And I was interested what that would look like.
Has anything surprised you about doing the podcast in terms of maybe a topic that you covered that one of your co-hosts you didn't think would see one way, saw it a different way than you envisioned they would see something?
Yeah, I mean, just talking about politics and talking about everything going on in our world. We live in such a crazy time, from, the president to the upcoming presidential election and all of the nominees that are coming out. I mean, getting to debate with these other guys has been incredible. I mean, it's insane to see the things we agree on, the things we disagree on, talking about our parents' points of view, which are very, very different than ours, you know.
Oh, 100%,
and
yeah.
that's interesting stuff to me. That's like the meaty stuff that I think is really, really cool, and I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping it continues. Yeah, we have 6 episodes out.
Is it a weekly podcast, or do you do it?
We're
as
doing
time
it bi-weekly
permits?
right now,
Bi-weekly.
kind of as we can, and we have 2 coming out in the next 2 weeks, and we have a celebrity guest every interview.
Oh, that's nice.
Every episode, so we kind of feature some actor, musician, some sort of trendsetter that we think is interesting and will be interesting to other people.
Nice. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Would you like to spin that off and maybe get a different group of guys and try it out in California and get maybe a different vibe? Or
Yeah, I think it's
no
interesting.
offense to the other 4 of you.
No
we're not
offense to
we're
the-
not replacing you. We're secretly replacing you.
Secretly, it's all been replaced. We planned it.
Yeah.
No, I'm really at sort of a crossroads in my life right now where I'm figuring out if I want to be here or I want to be in California, and I'm open to change. I'm open to possibility. I love the group of guys we have right now with the podcast, and I'm
Nice.
really excited to keep growing it with them and see what it becomes. I'd love to send it to some different casting friends and people I have once I feel like we have a good
Have legs,
amount of
yeah.
episodes out, and yeah, and it has its legs and personality, because I think it's unique, you know, and I think anything that has a niche audience like that is special.
Is there a topic that you have not brought up on the show that you would like to really delve into besides politics? Or
Well, I love reality television. I love TV, and I love entertainment news. And so far, we've been really politically based because I kind of think that's our niche.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of shows about gay guys talking about, you know,
Entertainment, yeah.
entertainment news. But politics is such another spectrum of the world. So that's kind of where we've been. I'd love to get more, though, into entertainment news, because
Yeah.
I think that's really fun. That's the stuff I love.
you talk a lot about the fact that you do delve into politics. Gay guys, and speaking as one myself, have very strong opinions
Yeah.
about certain people in the political
Yes.
climate. Do you ever try to bounce the other way? And not that there's a defense of
Totally,
that, but
no.
is there, like, maybe one day he does do something good?
I'll admit,
miraculously?
I try every day to be a very peaceful namaste person and be fair about everything that happens. And so I think me and a couple other people on the Round podcast try to be maybe the devil's advocate occasionally, maybe bringing up a different point of view, because I think that's important in life. And I think every belief, no matter how certain you are in it, should be challenged. I think you should be challenged at what you believe all the time. You know, just so that it's good to ask questions. It's good to be curious. It's good to learn more. And that was part of us starting it. We wanted to kind of give news to people in a fun way.
Right. As an actor, there are times when you are not working.
Yeah.
You do have a quote-unquote survival job, as they
Yeah.
say, and you teach. What is that experience like for you? And does that make you, do you feel a more well-rounded person?
I do. You know, I think I've realized pretty recently, actually. I mean, I feel like I'm very blessed. I've gotten to have some really great jobs at just 24 years old. I did a tour of Beauty and the Beast, like I said, regionally, and then I did a tour for Nickelodeon of Paw Patrol Live for a year, which
Did you
was
play Ryder?
insane. I played Chase.
You look like a rider.
Thank you.
I have young nephews. I don't sit there and watch. Like,
Love it.
that
love
seemed
it.
very like pedophile-ish.
No,
but I do
no.
have younger nephews.
Love it. Yeah, I did that for a year, and then I moved here. And what you kind of said about those in between times, you know, I really had that realization really recently about being an actor. You know, it's sustaining your spirit through those in between times, because jobs will come, opportunities will come. It's like I was saying earlier, being in the game, showing up, you know, and no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what's going against you, no matter who's against you, no matter how upset you feel that day, how sad you are about something that happened, and showing up. And I've learned that those in-between times are the most interesting times, I think.
Yeah.
More interesting than when you're on top and when you're in a show and everybody wants to, hang out and everybody wants to do something with you. And those in-between times you learn about who your friends are and what's important and what fills your heart, what makes you happy.
We talked briefly about your guest star role on How to Get Away with Murder. Who did you primarily work with when you were on that show?
When I was on that show, I was a law student.
Okay.
Featured in several different little scenes and stuff, and I just had one line. But it was...
Within the college atmosphere?
Yes, within the college atmosphere. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that like working with
And
her?
it was really, really, really incredible. I mean, my television stuff that I got to do in Los Angeles was really unique, and I think I kind of didn't even know at that time kind of how to navigate it. And so I would be really interested to, like I said, kind of delve back into TV. I think it's a whole different beast than theater.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting beast, and it's a whole other game. And I had a friend, I've had a couple friends that as of recent have gotten to really grow in their television careers, and it's really inspired me. I mean, I get so inspired from my friends when friends are doing great things. I said, me and the different friends I've gotten to acquire over the years through performing, it's, something good for me is something good for all of us. It's a feather in my hat is a feather in all of our caps, because that's what this business is. It's networking, it's meeting people, it's knowing that I'll show up for you and you show up for me.
Well, that's a perfect way to end it. Everybody, please check out Brandon's podcast, which sounds amazing. And please leave comments and show him some love on his podcast page.
I would love that. Thanks, guys.
And come on down and see The Big Bang Theory, a musical parody,
You gotta
while
come
you're
see
here
it.
in New York.
You gotta see it. And my Instagram is @BrandonDelsid1. And thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll link all that in the interview, so you're good to go.
You're amazing.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.